Okay, so for this exercise, we're going to need to set up right in front of a wall. Now, just for the sake of angles, I'm using this setup right here, but let's imagine this is a wall or anything that you can actually push against without it moving. So the idea is we want to learn how to hip hinge. So what a hip hinge is, it's when you take your hips and you bend from them, not from your back, not from your knees. A lot of times when people try to hip hinge, they're going to come straight down and use their knees, or they'll try to bend from their back. But what we want to teach ourselves is how to bring our butt back. And there's no better way to teach this motion than to actually hit something gently with our butt to know that we're doing it right. So that's where the wall comes in, or at least in this case, a bunch of plyo boxes. So here's how you start. We want to be pretty even with our feet, about shoulder width apart, maybe hip width apart. And we want to keep our whole foot on the ground with both feet. So a lot of times when people try to do this, they'll rock back on their heels. We don't want that. We want to have even pressure between our heels, our big toe, and our little toe. So it's like that triangle of contact that we want to maintain with a little bit of gripping into the ground with our feet as well. From here, we're also going to be nice and tall. Belt buckle is going to be up, and I like to keep my hands here, kind of in the inseam right here, just to focus on pushing back with this area. Because when I push back with the area, if I keep doing it, I'm going to feel a gentle tap into the wall, and then I can come back up. So that's the starting position, kind of gripping the ground with our feet, nice and tall. Knees are going to be slightly bent. They're not going to be bending, but they're not going to start locked. They're going to be slightly bent. Then I'm going to shoot my hips back, touch, come back up. Now, I'm just going to be touching, but if that wall wasn't there, I wouldn't be falling over. A lot of times people shoot back and they lean everything into the wall and come back. Always ask yourself, if this wall wasn't here, would I be falling backwards right now? And if the answer is yes, that means you have to work a little bit more on keeping your feet flat into the floor and keeping nice and balanced. So I'm doing this, and if, let's say, I feel like this is pretty easy, like I can touch that without a problem, I move up maybe a half an inch. Half an inch is a lot with this exercise. And then you just keep going and ask yourself, okay, how much do I really feel like I have to stretch to get back there? And if it's still not a lot, you move up another half an inch. But see, the problem is if you move up too far, anatomically, no matter how good you are with your hip range of motion, you're not going to be able to touch it. So make sure you find the sweet spot between not too close and not too far. And then once you do, it's the same thing. Nice and tall, belt buckle up. Really stretch back, keeping your feet flat on the floor. Good balance. Coming back up. Same thing. Coming back with my hips. Coming back up. And I'm not rounding my back. I'm not keeping my belt buckle up. My hips are the ones that are moving, not so much my pelvis. Then my torso leans forward. Coming up, squeezing my glutes.